Mommy, guess what? I'm going to get married.
You are? That's wonderful news. Congratulations, honey.
My name is Satoru Megado. I'm 40 years old and I'm working in an office. I got married when I was 30 years old to Yuri, just 1 year after we met. I can still remember the first time I saw her and the shock I got from the state that she and her daughter were in.
Excuse me?
Huh? Are you talking to me?
Yes. I'm really sorry to disturb you all of a sudden. I just wanted to ask for some directions, that's all.
She's wearing some really old, worn clothes for some reason. This must be her daughter. She looks really small. She must be pretty young. Yeah, sure, I can give you directions. Where did you want to go?
Well, I wanted to go to the town hall.
The town hall? That's pretty far. It might take a lot of time. I think it might take around half an hour. Even for an adult, it's gonna take much longer if you got a child with you, too.
Is that so? That might be difficult.
Mommy, I'm hungry. When can we eat?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, honey. We'll find something to eat, too. What do we do?
It might be none of my business, but I'd like to give you this. Please take it.
What? I can't accept this. You really don't have to.
You can use this to pay for a cab to go to the town hall within minutes, and then you can use the change to eat something with your daughter. I'm sorry that I can't give you any help long term, but I hope that this will get you through today.
There's nothing to apologize for. Thank you so much for being so kind to a stranger like me. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me and my daughter. Is it possible to get your phone number so that I can contact you? I'd like to pay you back for what you've done for us today. I don't know when, but someday.
You really don't have to bother with thanking me, but just in case, here's my phone number, okay? Take care. We parted ways and I almost immediately forgot about her, and then in a few months I got a phone call from an unknown caller ID. When I answered,
Hello? You might not remember me, but I believe I borrowed $100 from you quite a while ago.
Oh yeah, I remember. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks to you. I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself properly when we first met. My name is Yuri Saito. Thank you again.
Come to think of it, I don't think I ever told you my name either. I'm Satoru Megado.
Mr. Maguru, thank you so much for your kindness all those months ago. I was able to reach the town hall with my daughter, and I got all the necessary paperwork done to receive public housing. My daughter and I finally got our lives back on track, and it's all thanks to you. I was really desperate at the time, but you showed me that there was some hope left.
Really? That's great news. I'm so happy for you and your daughter.
I called today because I wanted to thank you just like I promised I would. Please, let me treat you to dinner or lunch.
I thought about turning down her invitation, but considering that she had called me even after so much time had passed, I had a feeling that she wouldn't take no for an answer, and I agreed to go out for dinner with her just once. We met for dinner and Yuri was looking nothing like she had all those months ago. The clothes that she was wearing were clean and she had her hair set, and she was smiling the whole time that we were together. She was so beautiful that I didn't even recognize her when I first arrived at the meeting point that we'd chosen, and I couldn't help but feel a little bit nervous. We were always able to enjoy a lovely dinner together, and despite telling myself that I'd only eat her once, we ended up promising to meet again.
Why do you like going out to eat with us, Satoru? Is it fun being with us?
Marina, why do you have to ask that?
It's fine. It's natural because she's curious. I guess I like eating with you guys because I like you both very much. I want to spend time with you both.
Satoru?
Really? Then that means that you're Mommy's boyfriend. You and Mommy are boyfriend and girlfriend.
Where on earth did you remember that word? Is it TV again?
What do you think about me being your mom's boyfriend? Do you hate that?
You take us out to eat really yummy food, so I like you too, Satoru. You can be my Mommy's boyfriend.
You're brutally honest, Marina.
Satoru?
I don't know what happened to you in the past, Yuri, and I can understand if you don't want to tell me anything. But I do love spending time with both of you, and I really want to be with you guys more. I'd be happy if you considered us to become more than just a couple and actually being family.
I'd be happy to.
Like that, Yuri and I were able to get married, and we had been dating for over just 1 year. It was my first marriage, but I'd become a father of a 10-year-old girl right off the bat. Luckily for me, Marina was cheerful and energetic, and she loved to talk. I felt like I'd become good friends instead of a father and daughter. I was just relieved that she'd given me and her mom the blessing to get married. At first, I felt like everything was going perfectly. We were happy, but just 4 or 5 years later, Marina is already a middle schooler, and she was going through puberty. That's when everything began to change and my happiness began to crumble.
Hey, what are you doing? I don't want you putting your laundry in with my clothes. It's disgusting.
Huh? But it's a waste of water if I have to do the laundry twice.
I don't care. My clothes are way more important. You can't wash them together. Ugh. You're so gross. What are you going to do if my clothes start to reek of old man smell? Are you going to buy me new clothes?
It sounded like she was going to go through a phase in puberty. Even when I tried to ask Yuri for advice, she didn't take it seriously.
She's a teenage girl, and there's not much you can do to change your attitude. You'll just have to deal with it.
Yeah, but don't I deserve some respect? I may not be a real dad, but I pay for everything in this house.
She'll come around soon. Don't worry.
But can't you say something to her? It really hurts my feelings when she treats me like that.
Yeah, I'll talk to her when I can.
As you can see, she really didn't seem to care and only replied half-heartedly to get me off her back. Hey, I'm home!
And then Yukino cracked a joke about the new teacher.
Yukino's always up to something naughty.
Hey, I'm home!
We heard you the first time. What is it?
Do you mind not interrupting? I'm trying to have a conversation with my mom.
I was just wondering what's for dinner.
I've left your plate on the table. You can warm it up and eat it when you're ready. We've already eaten.
Both of their attitudes towards me just got worse and worse by the day.
Hey, what's up? That was a pretty big sigh there.
Oh, it's nothing, just a lot going on.
Have you heard the rumor going around the company too? It's pretty shocking, huh?
What rumor?
You don't have to pretend you don't know. I've already heard it too. I can't believe that our company's actually on the verge of bankruptcy. We're screwed.
What? We're going bankrupt?
Shh, don't shout, okay? Everyone will hear you. Are you being serious? Did you really not know?
Where did you get that information? Can you trust the source?
My older brother's friends with Sato. You know, the managing director that resigned a few weeks ago. I heard everything from the big bro. Sato told him that the accounting is done for, and that the company is on course for bankruptcy within 3 years. It's pretty solid information.
I thought it was weird, and I couldn't imagine why he'd want to give up on a position like that.
By the way, I'm also planning on resigning. I'm leaving at the end of the month.
Seriously?
You better escape the sinking ship before it's too late. This might be your last chance.
I was already agonizing over the trouble that I had at home, and I wasn't expecting to hear that the company I was working for was having financial trouble. If anything, we were gonna need a lot more money to cover the cost for her tuition, for high school, and possibly for college, if she was planning on advancing. I didn't have the time to sit around and wait for a new job to come around.
He usually greets us when he gets home, even if we don't reply to him. I wonder what's wrong.
Mom, what's wrong? Were you listening?
No, it's nothing. I was just thinking about the trip we're taking on Saturday. I was wondering.
Yeah, what is it?
I'm already 35 years old. I wonder if there are any positions available. Oh, look at that.
Hey.
Huh? Oh, hey, what is it? I'll eat dinner when I'm ready. It's not like you guys are gonna eat with me, are ya?
That's not it. I don't care about that. Maria and I want to go out for a trip next Saturday, so I want some money for us to spend while we're gone.
Seriously? Why doesn't she tell me these things in advance? Whatever. Here, you can use this card. I've been putting $300 into this account every month so that you can use it for holidays and for shopping. But there's a spending limit of $300, so make sure you don't overspend. You won't be able to use it if you spend that much in one go.
Yeah, fine.
I guess it's all okay if she and Marina are getting along well. 5 years later, it's been 5 years since then, and Marina and Yuri are still just as cold to me. And they don't treat me as part of their family. But despite being so frosty, Yuri still does the bare minimum around the house, and I've been managing to work out what sets Marina's temper tantrums off. So we're living together, but I don't really have to worry about us butting heads on a daily basis anymore. I also succeeded in finding a new job, and resigned from the company that was said to be doomed into going bankrupt. I've gotten used to the new environment, and we've been getting by with the new salary I've been receiving. However, just as I thought things were going pretty well, my wife and I heard some big news from Marina.
Mommy, guess what? I'm going to get married.
You are? That's wonderful news. Congratulations, honey.
Huh?
So, what's your fiancé like? Tell me everything.
He's 5 years older than I am, and he's working at Moni's Trading. Can you believe it?
Moni Tradings? That's amazing. It's one of the biggest companies in the country. You're going to be filthy rich, Marina.
At the time, Marina had only just turned 20 years old. She had decided not to go to a university and started working part-time at an apparel store after she graduated from high school. 2 years into her new job, she'd become a full-time worker and was still learning the ropes of her new responsibilities. Over the past few years, I had become part of the wallpaper. I knew that I would just annoy her if I tried to give her advice, so I didn't do anything, and just stayed out of her way, and I knew that this time there wasn't any different. So I tried to return to my own room without disturbing them, but...
So that's why I wanted to tell you that me and my husband want to live in this house when we're married.
Oh, really? That's lovely. I think that's a great idea.
What? But we don't have that kind of space in the house.
It means that I want you to get out of this house, old man. You're just in the way, so will you hurry up and leave?
Marina and I hadn't spoken in a few years, and it had been a long time since she'd spoken to me for herself, but I couldn't believe that this is what she wanted to say. To be honest, I had built a sort of mental barrier of several layers in order to defend myself, and to prevent getting too depressed by her attitude, but this was too much. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. However, I didn't have time to be in despair. Before I could calm myself down, I found myself being dealt another fatal blow.
You're right, Marina. I think that's best for all of us. If Marina's getting married, then there's no reason to keep you around. It's probably time for us to get divorced if you're not going to make yourself useful. You're just a waste of space after all.
Exactly, Mommy. Let's do that. We don't need him.
What? Do you have something you want to say? If you do, then go ahead and say it. You barely exist in this house, so what's the problem?
I know, right?
Fine, I'll do as you ask and leave.
What? Really?
You're the ones that are telling me to go, so why are you so surprised? I thought that's what you wanted. Besides, I've been wondering what I should ask you to sign the divorce papers I prepared. I was waiting for the right time, but now you've brought up the conversation up yourself. It's great timing.
Oh, is that so?
But before we do that, there's something I wanted to show you. I held out my phone to both Yuri and Marina and showed them a photograph of what was displayed on the screen. When they saw what I had, both their jaws dropped and they went completely pale.
What's this? Why do you have to do that?
I don't understand. How did you take this photograph? You knew about that?
You guys are really horrible, you know. I was completely deceived. You guys have been meeting with Yuri's previous husband, the guy that Marina's biological father is, and behind my back. As far as I can tell, it's been happening for a good few years now, and it looks like Yuri and him have been meeting alone.
Why do you know about that? What is this?
It's evidence. I gathered proof of your affair so that I could gain advantage in court when we got divorced. I found out that the reason why you and your previous husband got separated was because he lost his job and lost the financial means to support you all. He had problems with alcohol and suddenly left the house and never came back. You were both left behind and ended up in poverty for a while until you met, and managed to make your way out of that situation. But all that was planned, wasn't it? You used me.
What?
You didn't want to work and wanted to remarry as soon as possible, so you'd been targeting office workers with stable incomes. You wore tattered clothes on purpose to gain some sympathy, and you called out to all the other office workers that you thought would be easy to deceive. Out of all the guys that you called to, I was the only one that actually handed you money, and that made me your main target, huh? And you planned to make me fall in love with you, huh? You're a real strategist, aren't you?
What? You can't seriously think I would do that. That's all your imagination.
Hey, just let me give you some advice, huh? This is out of consideration for what might happen after all this. But it's best that you don't blab about all your secrets while out in public, because you never know who might be listening. I brought out my voice recorder and played the first recording I'd saved. It was a recording of a conversation between Yuri and her ex-husband. Yuri must have been realizing what I was about to play because she lunged for the device in my hands and demanded that I stop the recording, but it was too late. Your ex-husband's name is Tomoya Sasaki. He's working in construction and he still has debts to pay off, but he's managed to get back on his own feet, and he hasn't been having any other financial problems since you got separated. He first made contact with you about 4 years ago when he apologized for disappearing and leaving you and Marina alone. He'd been looking for you for a long time so he could say sorry, and he'd even been walking outside and waiting outside the store where you were working at until your shift was over so that he could talk to you. You were pretty shocked to see him after such a long time, but you hadn't broken up with him because you hated each other, so you ended up falling back in love with him. After going out a few times, you started bringing Marina with you to see him, and then you both started to feel that I was just in the way of your happiness, am I wrong?
How do you know that much? Did you hire a private investigator to follow me or something?
No, I investigated you myself. I'm working at a private investigator's office, so I know the tricks of the trade.
What? What are you talking about? You're just a regular office worker. Since when have you been a private investigator?
About 5 years ago, when I was still just a working salesman, I heard a rumor of the company was going bankrupt. So I panicked and I looked for a new job before I got fired. At first I was pretty worried about the future and I would be able to support you guys, but if anything, I'm really lucky that I became the PI. I would never have realized what you were up to if I didn't. Everything you did was typical of a woman that was cheating and hiding something from her husband.
What are you talking about? I'm not.
You spent every weekend going out with Marina, and when it wasn't with Marina, it was with your friends, and you became 10 times more suspicious when you started coming home later, saying that your coworker went home sick, and that you had to cover their shift almost every week. There were times when Marina would come home late with you, even though she wasn't at any clubs at school. Let me make it clear, if you both come home at almost the same exact time for different reasons, it's suspicious. Just how stupid did you think I was? It's unbelievable that you thought that you could get away with it. Yuri just went red in the face and began grinding her teeth out of frustration. As for Marina, she must not have realized how serious the situation was.
Then what's the problem? You want a divorce? We want a divorce. It's perfect. Let's hurry up and get it done.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's gonna be pretty tough for you guys after we're divorced. Apparently, you don't know what we signed the contract for this house in my name, and so I'm gonna end the tenancy agreement after we divorced. And I'm not going to let you get away with cheating on me for so long without any compensation. Yuri, you and your ex-husband are both gonna owe me some compensation. Do you understand what that means? You're both gonna have to leave this house, and you won't be able to live here happily ever after with your new husband. Once I explained what would occur after a divorce, reality finally began to sink in for Marina, and she went as pale as Yuri was. She began to shake her mother's shoulders and began shrieking.
Hey, what are you going to do, Mom? Can you pay that? Where are we going to live? What's going to happen to us?
Have you finally realized that your plan to live with your daddy and your new hubby have gone down the drain? You're gonna have to figure that out yourself.
What the hell is up with you?
Marina, I don't care what you think of me anymore. There's no point in trying to make you understand. But I was paying for everything in this house, and you were only able to live comfortably because I was working hard to keep things that way. And yet you treated me like I was trash. You didn't treat me with any love or respect, and that is not how you should treat people. Even if you were going through a rebellious stage or something, it's not a good enough excuse for you to treat me the way you treated me.
I'm not interested in hearing your lectures, old man. My real daddy's handsome, and he's super nice to me. He buys me whatever I want without complaining, and he doesn't lecture me like you do. He might have been a little useless in the past, but that doesn't matter anymore. It's important that he's a wonderful daddy to me now, and Yuhei's working in a really big company, and he earns a fortune. I don't need you anymore if I get married to him.
I really feel sorry for you, Marina. You're just too naive.
What are you talking about?
It's probably best that I let you hear this recording. It's much faster than explaining.
Hey, Tomoya, looks like everything's working out.
Yeah, it's taken some time, but it was all worth it. Now we'll get our hands on some easy money, and they don't know any better.
What is this? That's Daddy. And Yuhei's voice?
It was a pain in the butt to look for her, but the second I told her that I wanted to get back together, she fell for my act, and I think I still love her. She's such an idiot. That's probably where Marina got it from, you know?
They really are. Marina believed me when I told her that I was working at Money Tradings. She didn't doubt me for a second when I showed her the fake business card.
But if Yuri and I get back together, then I'll be able to take their house for my own. And then we'll have to convince them to get jobs. Once we do that, we'll be living easy without having to do any work. We can just spend their salaries doing what we want.
What are you gonna do about your girlfriend who you got in the city that you used to work in? You were living there for a pretty long time. Did something happen between the two of you? What made you decide to look for your ex?
Oh, her? She got way too old to work in the club, so I dumped her and came looking for Yuri. I can't expect Yuri to make any decent money since she's too old, but Marina's grown up pretty cute, and she'll probably get a lot of customers. She's gonna make me rich.
You're a devil, Tomoya!
This is a recording that my colleague got out of Tomoya and Yuhei talking about their plans to use you. But neither of them seemed to hear what I was saying. They both just stood in shock, staring at the voice recorder I'd been holding out to them. I put the voice recorder away and pulled out some documents. I laid out the divorce paper that I already filled on the one table and pointed to them. Come on, let's get divorced. Sign your papers and then you can go and live with your daddy and your hubby. You'll be happier than you were ever with me.
No, wait, please. I don't want to get divorced anymore. You're the only one for me, Satoru. I need you.
What? You were the ones that first mentioned that we should get a divorce. I've already recorded the entire conversation and I have proof of what you said, so now you can't back down anyway.
Please, don't do this. I don't want to leave you. You've got to forgive me. I promise to be a good wife from now on. I swear. I won't ever make the same mistake.
No, thank you. If you're not gonna sign the papers, then I'll have to hire a lawyer and take you to court. I'll do whatever it takes to get this divorce. I don't want to be with either of you anymore anyway, okay? Did you think that you could afford to hire a lawyer even though you've been spending all the money that you've been earning on your ex-husband? I don't think you can, so sign the papers.
No!
I've already moved most of our stuff into a new apartment, and I've also hired a company to come by and buy all the electrical goods that I don't need anymore. The contract to rent this house ends in the end of the month, so you both get to get them out by then.
Wait, what am I supposed to do? What's going to happen to me? Don't you care about me? You can't abandon your daughter just like that.
You told me you wanted to wash my clothes separately, and you never even greeted me when I got home from work, and you refused to eat dinner with me. I used to love you and think that you were my own daughter, but I can't do that anymore, okay? I can't think of you as my daughter.
Oh, wait! I'll apologize. I'm sorry for everything I've done up until now. So please, I'll be a good daughter from now on.
Marina, I can't deny that it's definitely a parent's responsibility for raising you into a selfish woman like this. However, you refused to even acknowledge me as a human being, and brushed me off whenever I tried to be a parent or told you off for something. Even when I just wanted to talk to you, that's why I'm not taking any responsibility for how you turned out. You're already an adult, okay? You're out working. You should understand that you need to respect other people as well as yourself. You gotta learn to take care of both yourself instead of relying on us to do everything for you. I ignored both their pleas and grabbed a final bag that was filled with my essentials before leaving the house for good. Despite already warning them about what happened, Yuri didn't sign the divorce papers I had left, but I had my lawyer speak to her. He told her that she wouldn't have to pay compensation if she didn't demand alimony, and if she signed the papers within the set deadline, then she finally gave in and agreed to the divorce. I had my lawyer collect the papers and file them, and for the first time in years, I felt free. I was released from the grip of that toxic mother and daughter. However, that was just the beginning of their troubles. There was still hell to come.
Please, Dad, you've got to help me. I need you. I don't know what's going on. My real dad turned up, and I was put in a car, and I don't know where they're taking me. I'm really scared. Help me, please. There's a man telling me that he's going to work me to the bone, but I don't know what they're going to make me do. Please, what's going to happen to me? Where's my mommy? Yuhei's disappeared, and my daddy's gone too. You've got to answer me, please. They're going to take my phone away from me. You've got to do something, please.
Megado, I've got some new information concerning that incident you were looking into. Turns out that Tomoya Sasaki and Yuhei Tanaka were both working for a con artist organization. Seems like the other members that we're working with all have been caught by the police, but Sasaki and Tanaka have both been borrowing money from loan sharks that were a front for the mafia. They haven't been able to pay it back, so the MoniRobo gang has taken them to make sure that they work off their debt. I also found out that Yuhei Tanaka and Maria had already gotten married, so she's been forced to aid in paying back his debt. The MoniRobo gang doesn't let family members off that easily, so she's got no choice. As for your ex-wife, her ex-husband has been using her name to borrow money from a lot of suspicious places, and it looks like she's gonna be forced to shoulder that debt with him. She's going down the same road as Marina. I've already managed to work out this much, but we're the ones that will suffer, and the mafia realizes that we've been following them. I'm gonna stop the investigation here, but what do you think?
Well, they're in a lot deeper than I expected them to be. It's also surreal. It's hard to believe that I was actually living with them just a few months ago, that they were my wife and daughter.
Yeah, I can imagine. Under normal circumstances, they wouldn't have any responsibility to pay back the debt that they didn't borrow money of their accord. And they wouldn't even owe any money just because their spouses do. However, they were unlucky that both Tanaka and Sasaki had been borrowing from the underworld, where those rules don't apply. It's probably karma, since they treated you so badly when they were together. What goes around comes around, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like I wanted them to suffer or become unhappy once they were separated, but I'm not interested in offering them a helping hand. Not anymore, never again. I decided that I wasn't going to become involved with them anymore once I got divorced, and I'd been waiting for this. So this probably means that I'm going to have to go to hell as well, you know?
That's not true. You don't have any kind of obligation to help either of them. You were kind enough to take them in and endure their abuse, and they betrayed you. It's not fair if they don't want to spend time the rest of their lives suffering and paying for what they've done. They deserve this.
Oh yeah, did you say that you divorced your wife because she was cheating on you too? Is that why you came to work here?
Yeah, I got the upper hand in court thanks to the private investigators that were working here. Thanks to him, I didn't have to pay alimony and I got compensation from both my wife and her lover. I wanted to help out with all the people that are suffering because their partners are cheating on them, and I swore that I would do my best for this PI's office. I only just started working here as a whim after I saw an advert on a website, and I just gave it a try because I didn't have many options, but I'm really glad that I started working here, and I don't regret it at all. Let's all do our best, Yuki. We can help the other Megado and Yukis of all the world. Yeah!
It might not be a really happy marriage, and it was probably the lowest period of my life, but despite all the bad times, I still remember how happy I was in the beginning. Those memories still linger in the back of my head, and at the bottom of my heart, they're still shining faintly.
Hey, Daddy, look at this. This is for you.
It's really pretty, Marina. Thank you. I'm really happy.
Thank you for marrying Mommy, Daddy.
I want to say thank you too, Marina. Thank you for being my daughter. I'm glad I met you and your mommy. Memories really are a heavy burden, aren't they?
Is something the matter?
No, I wonder why I can't forget the happy times I had with my wife and daughter. Even though it hurts so much to be with them those last 5 years, even though they were so cruel to me.
I'm sure you'll forget them one day, and when you've gotten happier memories to store there when the time passed, it's gonna be gradual, but you'll forget. I read in the book somewhere that the ability to forget is a gift from God. You won't suffer forever, okay?
You're right, but I think I'll lay off marriage for good. I'm already 40 years old, it's a little too late for me now.
Really? My older brother got married when he was 42, and that was his first marriage. He's a really happy guy.
Seriously? Wow, guess there's no way to predict what'll happen in the future, huh?
Yeah, you can't give up yet. We're living at an age where it's normal to go up to the age of 100. You still got a long way to go.
Yeah, that's true.